Ah,
Cheers. Greetings from Seattle.
greetings from backwoods, North Carolina.
Sounds great.
Are you
God.
guys locked down?
Yeah, our official lockdown is tomorrow, actually. It's surprising enough, with all the talk about the Seattle area being hit hard, it's been really confined to this old folks retirement home, convalescent place up in Kirkland. Kirkland's a place where Costco comes from. That's why you see all those Kirkland garbage bags.
There you go.
So, but I got
Yeah,
music.
we're actually our shutdown's on Thursday, so we're
Yeah,
getting there. But
yeah,
whatever, we'll see
yeah.
how it goes.
Well,
Well, I'm a little nervous about this because I don't know if I know enough about my records.
oh, believe me, you're probably going to have some that I have no idea on because you get a lot of esoteric stuff. I got 55 years of collecting, but I'm one of those people. Are we taping now? Are we taping already?
yeah, we're
Yeah,
yeah we're recording.
yeah. I mean, I'm one of those guys that generation, like around 94, 95, I sold 2,000 records. I had about 7,000 or 6,000 from the record business days. I was in record business from 73 to 80, and I had a lot. And like, I didn't know in those days, like I got rid of, all the, not all, but a lot of the records. I thought, oh, I'm getting rid of this one because this is my favorite band record or my favorite Led Zeppelin record because I'll get it on CD. I don't know why I'm trying to
Yeah.
do an X. What am I doing here? But the only thing I do have, I have a Led Zeppelin classic reissue, which sounds great. But I don't have my original Led Zeppelins anymore. I have reissues, excited. But whatever.
So this is Norman. If you guys don't follow Norman or subscribe to his channel, you should. I'll put the link to his channel in the description of this video. But Norman is incredible
Call me
dude.
Mazzy. Call me Mazzy.
Mazzy. Okay, Mazzy. Sorry.
All right.
Mazzy's a good dude. I don't know why I'm calling you Norman. I call you Mazzy all the other
Well,
times.
my
It's
name
too
on
formal.
the thing, it's Norman Maslov. Mazzy's been since junior high school. Maslov, Mazzy, short.
I got you. So Mazzy does this thing called Wack-A-Mole, and I love it. That's one of the things I wish I had come up with this idea. So explain this to all those who don't know what it is, and then we'll get going on it.
Yeah, it's not even anything original. I've seen people like just pull some stuff from the collection and showcase it, but it's all about the branding. You know that, Noble. You know that, Dylan Noble. See, it's Noble. I call you Noble. But
I've been called
but
worse.
yeah, I figure Whack-A-Mole is, if you don't know Whack-A-Mole, it's this thing. They're big in arcades. They're mostly in arcades where the things pop up and you gotta hit the mole. Just
Yeah,
hit the thing. So it's kind of a random thing. So what I do is I usually do it with I just pick 5 random records and I talk about them, and I know pretty enough about my music to ramble stuff off, and you just go with it from there. Sometimes when I have guests over, we just pull more and just
yeah,
yeah, it's fun with people.
yeah. It looks like a blast. So we'll get started. Why don't you go first?
Okay, well, should I pick all 3 or just one? I'll pick all 3, and then we can rotate.
Okay, that sounds good.
One. We're doing 3, right?
Sure, yeah.
We're getting tighter. That's what she said. Uh, oh, I just dropped my Roy Orbison box.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
All right.
All right. You want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead. Well, let me pick my 3,
Okay, go ahead.
and then so
I'll get liquored up while you pick it.
I don't know, man. I'm trying to figure out where I know kind of what certain things are, and I know what would be interesting. So this is an interesting cubby. Pick this one. Oh, that's great. Then we'll pick out of, well, this is okay. And then where do I want to go from here? Let's say, let's see. 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 Oh, yeah. Okay. Alrighty.
So why
So,
don't we alternate? You do one, I do one, you do one. We'll go like that. Just have that.
okay. So this one I've showed on my channel before, but this is the Racketeers, Consolers of the Lonely, and this is a limited edition on whatever you want to call that vinyl.
That's the Third Man, then, right?
The Third Man vinyl issue. So the story behind this is I had a copy of this. My wife's grandfather, I was really close to him, and he was in the hospital probably 2011 or 12. And when he was in the hospital, we kind of stuck around the hospital real close. And one day we'd been in the hospital all day, and Emily's like, why don't you run, do something really quick to get your mind off of it? And I went to the record shop right here in town, and I bought this record. And it wasn't this copy, but I had it and listened to it, and it just really reminds me of that time. He actually passed away. He had lung cancer, but they caught it too late. But anyways, and so I just love this record. And then when I sold everything a couple of years ago, this one went with it. But a good friend of mine, I interviewed him for my podcast, Christian Benner. He's friends with Jack White, and Jack White gave him this copy. And he told me, he's like, do you like this record? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, you can have it. So he just gave it to me. It's a really sweet copy. Yeah, but it's just really good. I mean, Racketeers, you guys know who Jack White is. It has a lot of really cool inserts and stuff. And then the draw to it's that really nice colored vinyl, but it has a bunch of like different prints and stuff. But yeah, do you like Jack White?
I do. I just had a big discussion with someone who's staying with me. My friend, the archivist, is staying with me, and she's not a fan of Jack White. So we had like our own thing. I said, God, we gotta tape this stuff. We gotta record this stuff when we're having these debates and everything about it. But yeah. Anyway, I like Jack White too. I've never seen him, but you know, I have the last Racketeers albums. I don't have the new. I don't have the one before that, and I have a bunch of Jack White albums. But yeah. All right.
Cool. We'll go.
One thing I always think about you, how do you decide what to keep in your collection, what to sell? You have that dilemma, like, this is so cool, but it's so valuable. Do I keep it? Do I sell it? Or do I just wait?
You have way more records than I do. I have like 2,500 maybe.
Yeah,
and so
5,000.
I had about 5,000 before I opened the shop, and then I sold like a lot of it. So, but I just kind of, if I know I'm not going to listen to it and I don't like it that much, I'll get rid of it. And then if it's super common, I don't feel bad about getting rid of it because I'll see it again. But if it's significant to me and I think I'm going to listen to it, I'll keep it. So
cool. All right. The first one I picked, not uncommon to everyone, Fresh Cream. Okay. Now, this I know just because I went through a period, I don't know why, I never loaned records out because you know how dangerous that is when you're a kid, loan records. But I bought this copy in 1966 because I wrote my name on it. I don't do that anymore. So this is a 1966 copy of Atco Records, original inner sleeve. You know this shit, but and actually, this stuff, it sounds great. I mean, I had like a Magnavox pulled down record player with the side speakers folded out, and I kept playing that. But I love this record. I mean, I I'm that generation that we got into the blues because of Cream and the Yardbirds, all those British bands. And my buddy and I were just talking about this because they just put out that 1968 box set of Cream, and I never saw them back in the day, but I did in 2005. I went to that Royal Albert Hall show. I went to the second show.
Wow.
I thought, this is going to be the last time. I know they ended up doing a New York run about a year later or something, but I went to see the Royal Albert Hall, and I saw them. I mean, I think a lot of people. It was a great show. They were a little bit slower than they used to be when they do like Crossroads and the stuff from Wheels of Fire, and it was so great. But a lot of people were disappointed because Clapton played a Stratocaster instead of the black SG that he used to play with Cream. Yeah, different sound. But whatever, it was Cream.
Okay. My second one was, well, actually, I'll say this was actually my second one. Zeppelin 3 Days After, the bootleg, and I know I was picking a Zeppelin bootleg because I have a whole cube of them. I actually have like almost 2 cubes of Zeppelin bootlegs. I have about 80.
Then I could have gone my Beatles side and cheated like that too.
Well,
Yes.
and this is not a great. This is not a great one for me because I don't really know a lot about this one. I can't remember. But all these are about the same. So this was 1973. 73 tour is probably my favorite Zeppelin tour. So this was Los Angeles Forum, June 3rd, 1973. And the reason why it's called 3 days after was because it was 3 days after John Bonham's birthday party. So Bonzo's birthday party is like a super iconic bootleg. But this one, I believe, is a Mike the Mike Millard recording. I can't remember for sure, but I believe it is. All the LA Forum stuff in the 70s usually was Mike Millard was the recorder. Do you know about him? Mike Millard?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if those of you who don't know, Mike the Mike Millard, he had a wheelchair that he wasn't disabled, but he had a wheelchair that had microphone in the handrails, and he had a real deck underneath the seat, and he would have them wheel him right in the middle and right in the front to record these like incredible shows, Zeppelin, Floyd, The Who, Stones, and like so. There's all these incredible recordings that he did, but this is one of them. And I kind of collect his recordings a little bit. But yeah, 1973 tour when they did the Whole Lot of Love. There's a whole lot of love. What do you call them? Medleys with all the old blues songs and stuff. So yeah, that's good stuff. So that's an interesting Zeppelin boot. But that was not actually. Go ahead.
Look, I said this would piss you off. I saw Led Zeppelin 3 times.
We're done. No, I would love to. I was just too young. So
I never saw the Beatles, so I mean, but I saw Kezar Stadium in San Francisco where the 49ers played, and then I saw 2 Days on the Green, and it was the last 2 shows they ever did in America. That's the things at the Oakland Coliseum where they got in a big fight. The manager got in a big fight with Bill Graham backstage, and then a couple days later, or maybe that day or the next day, Robert Plant's son died, and they canceled the rest of the tour, and they never came back to it. They finished Europe after that, but they never played America again.
I've got a bootleg of that show, I believe.
The Oakland show?
Hold on. I can't remember. It's called Alpha and Omega, and it has their first show they did in the U.S. and their last show they did in the U.S. But
Wow.
It sounds really bad, but I have it somewhere. I don't have them organized well, so I don't really know where it's at. But anyways, that's super interesting, man. I would love, obviously, to see them.
Well, it's a generational thing. There's like the 3 bands, the Doors, Jimi Hendrix, and the Beatles are the 3 I never saw that I wish I saw. But everyone else from my generation, I wanted to see. I think I saw more or less.
Wow.
Cool.
So you haven't done your second one yet. You go for number 2.
Oh, okay. This is a Light in the Attic reissue. Francois Hardy. Francois Hardy. I love the Yeye girls, the Yeye singers, the French sort of ingenues from mostly the 60s, went into the 70s a bit. Francois Hardy, Gainsbourg, Serge Gainsbourg kind of put all these people together. Jane Birkin was one. Obviously, people like Brigitte Bardot, actress who did that version of with Serge Gainsbourg of Bonnie and Clyde. But it's they're like model type, these beautiful French women that did like folky, did French pop stuff. Again, this is a reissue. I think I have 5 or 6 of these Light in the Attic stuff. Because when I'm in the mood to play these, I just like go through them all the time. So, Yeye girls, hot women from Paris.
Yeah, man. Yeah, she's incredible. How do you pronounce it? Francois?
It's Francois Hardy. Francois Hardy. I don't speak French. The only French I know is Sentez-moi qui vont très bien ensemble, which is Michel, my belle. These are words that go together. Or souffle, omelette,
fiance,
exactly.
French fry.
Exactly.
So my number 3 was Patches, Clarence Carter. This is one I would have probably never picked out to show, but I think I have this album solely because of the song Patches. Clarence Carter's great soul singer / guitar player. You know him probably better than I do, but I remember the first time I heard him was obviously Stroking when I was a teenager, and I just thought it was hilarious.
I never heard that record. I don't know that record.
You've heard Stroking, right?
I've heard Stroke. Didn't he do 60-Minute Man? A 60-Minute Man. It's not on that album, but I think there's a. I don't know. I used to have it.
But yeah, he did. Stroking was one that like really made me laugh as a kid, and then I heard that song and I'm like, can't believe that's by the same guy. But Patches is a really great song about a kid's dad dying and him having to step up and take care of the family. It's kind of sad too, but that's why I have this album. This is 1970. But yeah, I'm a sucker for soul singers, man.
That was one I traded in because I know I had the 60-Minute Man. You know, every once in a while, did I trade that like 20 years ago, or did I keep 25 or keep it? I just looked at. I traded it. Remember, it had like a clock on the front, and anyway.
Yeah, and I remember talking about that. So
my last one is a Columbia 6i, and it's Bessie Smith.
Okay.
So Bessie Smith, I love blues stuff. I know that, like, you know, I like any kind of music. It just depends on who it is. I'll take a chance or anything. But Bessie Smith, this is a whole story. Volume 4, the Bessie Smith story that came out on in the late 50s on 6i pressings. I have the 4 volumes like this that I only picked up in the last 10 years. I did have some of those reissues that came out with black and white covers as twofers in the 70s, which are still really good pressings. But I mean, as you know, I mean, the 6i, even if it looks funky, oh man, it can sound great. And this actually looks pretty pristine, pretty nice. So, you know, I mean, come on, we got to sing the blues a lot now. We got to do these friggin' things because, you know, it's the perfect time for blues music to be popular again, right?
Yeah.
So this is this is a great cover. I would say this is like a mint minus cover, and I mean, I probably listed a very good plus because you know how buyers are so picky. But I've never seen. This is great. No mildew smell, you know. So
yeah.
that's my last one. That's my last pick.
Let's go two. You want to do 2 more?
I can do that. Hey, I can go all night. No. Okay. 2 more each.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man.
This is the only exercise I get. You know, I had that contest, and I swear to God, people think it's easier than it looks because they're going back, especially different collections, and they're pulling this stuff. And I thought they were gonna, you know, I wanted to do a disclaimer. If you f up your back, don't sue me or anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you just did your third one. This is the next one I picked, which is great. I'm glad I picked this one. This one's Light and Hopkins, Texas Bluesman, our Hooli. This is a really great record. So, fun story about this one. I found this record like a week before the only time I've ever had the flu. I had the flu. This was 5 years ago, and basically I was at work. I was working a night shift. And I was like, man, I don't feel so good. And I went home and checked my temperature, and I had 104-degree temperature. So I kind of quarantined myself to the living room, and I just gotten this record and listened to it like crazy. And it's just a really great, our Hooli blues record. But Light and Hopkins, he's on so many different labels, but he's got to be one of my favorite blues guys.
Is that produced by Chris Strachwitz?
Let's see. It doesn't say.
I bet you it was recorded maybe by Chris Chris Stockwartz is he owns
yep.
a. Yep.
Yep.
He would record a lot of blues artists like John Lee Hooker. He also did a lot of the like Zydeco stuff, like Queen Ida and that kind of stuff. And he started our Hooley Records. He ended up selling our Hooley Records about 15, 20 years ago to Smithsonian, and they have it. He has a record store. I don't know if you've heard of it in El Cerrito, California, called Down Home Music, and it's a lot of roots music. It's been around since the late '60s. And he made a shitload of money because if you've seen Woodstock, I'm sure, the movie Woodstock, and Country Joe and the Fish, when they sing, I feel like I'm fixing to die. Come on, all you big strong man, uncle. Well, Country Joe McDonald wrote that to a traditional song that he had the copyright to from his blues and stuff records. So, I mean, Country Joe did fine, but because of the Woodstock album especially, he made like several $1 million of publishing on that song and all the times it was played. So there's a little thing about our Hooley.
To shout out to someone, I don't know who they were, but they commented on one of my videos, one of the blues videos I did, about how Lightning Hopkins, he said to his producer, "So you're my producer, right?" And they said, "Yeah." And he said, "Why don't you produce me a bottle of wine?" So I don't know. That's like a Lightning Hopkins quote. I thought it was pretty funny.
I think that's a great quote. I bet totally true. I believe that one.
So yeah. So go ahead.
All right. Now I'm getting closer to the South. Getting to Athens, Georgia here from the next band. So it could be either B-52s, REM, Less Active, or who else? What's that other Tractor something or Love Track? No. Anyway, REM, Tables from Reconstruction. Is that what it's called? Tables from Reconstruction? I always forget, Fables of Reconstruction. Sorry. Come on. You don't know REM?
I'm not a big REM guy. They're okay, but not,
I love this period of REM. When they started coming to San Francisco and the Bay Area, I used to see them. This one's produced by Joe Boyd, and Joe Boyd is a guy that was an American that moved to England, that produced the first Pink Floyd single, started the UFO Club, and then produced all the things like Fairport Convention, Maria Muldaur, Nick Drake. He's the guy that discovered and produced Nick Drake and stuff. So this is one that he came back and produced. So it's got Driver and I forgot what. No really hits, but it's actually a good record. IRS, I think it's when IRS got picked up by MCA. Anyway. Yeah, no big hits, but just a good record. I don't know. I like it. All right.
My last one's like super basic, but it's
yeah.
Raw Power. This is a really clean.
Yours is an original of it, right?
It's early. I don't think it's the first, but it's early, super clean. First time I found this album, there was a record store by my house at the time that everything was $1. And so I go dumpster diving and found like some great deals in their dumpster for free. But I would go in there every day and whatever collections he bought, it doesn't matter what was in it, he'd do it for $1 each. So I got all the first 3 Stooges records for $1 each. And this was, 15 years ago. And so this was one of them. And I remember thinking, man, this is such a strong record. But I don't know if are you a fan of Raw Power?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mix on it sucks.
Yeah, it's not a great sounding record. I only have a reissue now because that's again my Iggy and my Stooges albums are some that went away in the '90s. Man, who knew, right?
Yeah, I've got like some pretty sweet Stooges stuff. I got some promo Funhouse, and I got like a really sweet UK Stooges self-titled. It's worth a bunch, but I've gotten lucky with those. But that one. That one's really clean, but I remember thinking, man, it's such a strong record, but the mix sucks on it. So there's a reissue that has a 2 LP. The first one is the David Bowie mix, which is the original, and then the second one is the Iggy Pop mix, which is a lot better in my opinion. Let's see if I have it. I don't have it anymore.
Oh well.
So yeah, I used to have it anymore, but.
Did you buy records when you were young, or did you grow up in CDs? What are you, about 45?
No, I'm 32.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Wow, that was rough.
Hey, it's fine.
I
I've been called worse.
can't
No,
tell. I can't tell. I'm 65. I can't tell anymore.
well, I was born in '88, so
Oh,
I'm a
okay.
young
Oh,
buck.
so you grew up with CDs, probably.
Well, here's the deal. So as I was growing up,
I'm doing a shot.
you're good. I don't feel bad about that. I didn't. I haven't aged well. That's fine. But as I was growing up, all the CDs were really expensive, and records were like free. So I didn't collect CDs. I never bought CDs. I don't think I ever bought a CD. I always bought records because they were like pretty much free. So that was from the time I was 10 to now. That's all I've ever really bought. So.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, my final answer, my final pick is a new record. Well, new 3 years ago record. I'm a big fan of Mavis Staples, and this is she'd been doing like 3 great records in the last few years. She did one before this that Ry Cooder produced that I love. She did this one, If All I Was Black, produced by Jeff Tweedy, and her new, I forgot who did the new one. What's the black guy's name? What's the black guy? What's the black guy's name?
Oh, don't tell me.
No, not Let's Love Live, not folky black kind of artist who was kind of big in the like 90s or somewhat pop. Didn't matter. Anyway, this record's really good. Roots. It's very rootsy. Oh, I gotta get her name.
Kebmo?
What?
Kebmo?
No. That's a good guess. That's a great guess.
90s. Not Lenny Kravitz, right?
No, well, I almost thought of Lenny. This one is great. This one's better. This one came out last year. This is in my top 20 of last year. This is produced by Ben Harper. Sorry.
I was this close. I almost said Ben Harper. Man, I love Ben Harper.
Oh, he's great. This is a fantastic record. This picture is from a famous photographer, Gordon Parks, of these black kids looking through this like high upscale white playground. These white kids looking up. The photographer is an amazing photographer. He actually directed the very first Shaft movie in the like 1969 or 70, whenever it was. But this is a great record. This is my favorite of the three. Ry Cooder. I mean, these young hipster, whoever they are, produce these older artists. And it's kind of like you're talking about Jack White. I don't know if you heard that Loretta Lynn album he produced about, I don't know, 8 years ago. Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
It's, Loretta Lynn, right?
Yeah.
Old country queen, old country artist. And it's a great record, So
yeah.
Like when they dig up. It's kind of like Rick Rubin with Johnny Cash, right?
Oh, man, yeah.
Well, that was fun.
That was 30 minutes real fast. But, yeah. So,
well, thanks for the invite.
No problem. Yeah, I'm going to interview you soon because I feel like you have a real rich past. Since you're, like 90? You're like 90 years old right now, right?
65 years old.
Oh, 60. I'm joking.
I know you are. The thing is, and people say this sometimes, I was at the right place at the right time. Like I turned 13 in the summer of love in San Francisco. So I'd go to Golden Gate Park in 68, 69 and see like Big Brother with Janis Joplin, The Dead, Jefferson Airplane, all that stuff. Then I saw the Who at Do Tommy at Fillmore and Winterland. But all those shows, I went to the Last Waltz. I just was there and I worked in record stores and it was a perfect time. I wish I kept all the records, but I saw all these great bands that were playing in clubs like Patti Smith, Talking Heads. Then I got into punk stuff. I think the only thing I never really got into a lot was rap, really. I kind of missed that boat, except for a little bit of Run DMC and that kind of stuff early on. So I don't know, and Beastie Boys and stuff, but I never really, but I love roots and folk stuff and country. I mean, old country stuff and rock and roll stuff. I've never been a big heavy or a like a big metal fan. Aside to me, Led Zeppelin, Blue Cheer, and Black Sabbath are about as heavy as I go. But I like intense punk stuff and industrial stuff. So I'll go into experimental noise because I like the artsy of it sometimes, and I love it that it pisses people off sometimes, because like that's not music. Well, I love that. I love that thing. Like that's why on the VC, one of the channels I watch whenever he's on is the Metal Theologian, because I have no idea what the fuck he's showing, these like Chilean, Ukrainian heavy metal black, and I don't know it, but I just love it. He's sitting there vaping and playing these records, and it's hysterical. So
yeah.
All right.
You gotta have fun with it. So it's good to see you, Mazzy, and I'll get with you soon. Oh, I have something to show you.
Oh, wait. Don't hold that pose. Perfect.
Your perspective has been adjusted? Is that what you've been posting?
Yeah, exactly. Or something like that. Yeah, your reality is whatever, It's scary time, I'm glad this is kind of a nice thing to share with people, all this stuff, and I like to get cynical and joke about stuff, but I mean it. I've met some great people, you guys especially, you and John and Chris and David, and I wanted to come down there, and at some point I will. I don't know when this is all over, because I would love to hang out for a few days there, come to Charlotte and go out there, right? So
you're welcome to crash on the vinyl couch if you ever come back.
I want to do a Wack-A-Mole in your store is what I want to do.
Yeah, I'm down. Well, okay. We'll make it happen as soon as this all craziness passes.
Okay. Well, Mazzy loves you guys.
Good to see you, man. I'll talk to you soon. All right, bye.